What makes a person of interest? Coach Michael Burt cuts to the chase, interviewing some of the biggest names in the world. How do they think? What makes them tick? What are their thought processes? And how they became a person of interest.
Hey guys, Coach Michael Burt here at the Greatness Factory today. And sometimes I just get to have critical conversations with cool people.
Well, I like being a cool person. I like being in that category.
I was right in the middle of my Super Coach show today, and you guys that are watching this is Greg Kimble, who founded the Final Percent concept. We're going to get into what that means because Greg is going to be with me on the comeback campaign with me, Tim Story, Sharon Lecter. There's all kinds of cool people. We're coming to Nashville and Dallas. We're selling tickets today to both of those cities. And so we're doing it at my lodge in outside of Nashville, which is about 35 minutes outside of Nashville, but you feel way out in the country. And so Greg was with me on the cruise.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another cruise in the future, right? And,
man, you already know it. That was my first cruise. And I'm going to be honest with you, that was one of my favorite experiences. I want to go on as many cruises as I possibly can. And if you can combine that vacation time that most people associate with cruises with personal development and networking and really taking your game to the next level, there's no reason you wouldn't want to do that all the time.
I used to go on cruises, Greg, and with my parents and grandparents, and I went to Alaska and Hawaii. And I noticed when I was in the cruise, they would have these financial advisors that would go in and pitch their services to these old people. You know, or seasoned people, right? Because I'll be 44 in a few weeks, so I guess I'll be one of them old people soon.
There you go.
But I would sit in the back and I'd go, man, if they could do these financial services workshops, why can't we do inspirational workshops?
Amen.
And so that's where the idea. And I started doing cruises literally 10 years ago. And Greg on this cruise with us, this monster luxury cruise, back in the beginning of the year. We had a great experience. The crowd really, really loved him. He's got a great heart. He created a fascinating concept on the Final Percent, which I really love. Because when I was doing Super Coach today, Greg, right in the middle of Super Coach, I was doing this show today about how the biggest fight you're in is a fight against complacency.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And so let's compare that. Because you're going to be coming to Nashville. You built a school. You do a lot of cool things. You got a mastermind. You got a great concept. Man, I've been talking about how to make money with concepts. I just was in Florida at my house in Seaside teaching people how to write a book, make money with the book. So let's compare and contrast the Complacent Nation with the Final Percent. What's the differences between these two groups?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember that, you know, we founded our principle on always be content with what you have, but never content with who you are. And one of the things that I heard early on when I started my speaking career is Zig Ziglar saying you have to be before you can do, and you have to do before you can have. But the crazy thing is about that is we live in a world and a society where all we care about is the having. I want to have a nice house. I want to have a nice car. I want to have a nice this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm sitting in a $3 million house right now. And if I would have started my journey 10 years ago when I moved to Colorado, I would have said, oh, I want to have a $3 million house. I would still be working for that house to this day. But no, I chose to become the person who did the things where it's just a mathematical equation at that point. It's just, I am this, I do this, I have this. And so I focus on becoming more on a daily basis, getting around people who stretch me, who change me, who make me better, a better version of myself at that moment. So I'm always content. Always 100% of the time I'm content with what I have, but never with who I am, because if I become more, then I do more, then I have more. Having is a byproduct. And in the Final Percent, what I realized is, you know, nature is giving us all of these amazing clues to what's possible in life. And I was in Casper, Wyoming, looking at the the eclipse that was happening, because it was the totality was going right through America, and that was the closest place we could get to it. And it's really interesting because you're watching this whole idea of, this floating orb in the sky and this transcending experience and all of these things. But the problem is it kind of doesn't give you everything at the beginning, because you have to sit there and wait for 2 hours. You're so excited. You've seen pictures. You have to drive there. There's all this buildup. There's this anticipation. And then you sit there with those stupid little 25-cent glasses and you just stare up at the sky. And it basically just looks like Pac-Man is appearing in the sky. And no matter what you do, you try to take off your glasses, and you're taking off your glasses, and you're taking off your glasses, but you can't stare at the sun. Even if there's 1% of the sun showing, you can't stare at the sun. And then it happens. I have that final percent go over. I could take my glasses off. I look up. I see this floating orb in the sky. I was able to, look around on a 360-degree view, and it looked like it was 9 o'clock on a summer's night. The temperature dropped by about 30 degrees. And I was like, oh my God, that final percent was literally the difference between night and day. That final percent changed everything. And so I started thinking to myself, is my marriage the same way? If I'm at, I'm a 95% type of husband, what if I go 100% in my marriage? Do I get that same exponential shift in my marriage? Do I get the same exponential shift in my learning? If I'm, going 99% on the way that I read books, on the way that I interact, the way that I network, the way that I do these different things, if I find that final percent, that next gear, if I find that, does it open up just an unbelievable exponential world that I actually never even knew existed? And I found out that, the answer is yes. And you are always striving to raise your standards. The only way to actually change your life is to raise your standards. That's what you have to do. But sometimes you're not aware of these other standards. And what's that?
Let's talk about that, because the exposure is an activator of prey drive.
Absolutely.
But you don't know what you don't even know what you're missing.
No.
And so, I'm working out at F45. I've taken a stake in this F45 gym, and I'm helping it grow. And here's what I realized this morning after working out was that many people will never go to the gym and work out because they're afraid of how hard it will be.
Yeah.
They'll never sign up for a coaching program. They'll never go to a day with me and you and Tim Story and Sharon Lecter, even though it's obvious that these people could help you perform at a higher level. They could help you do half more than what you currently have.
Absolutely.
But they don't know it.
Well, and that's kind of what's going on with the whole prey drive. And that's why I love that concept so much. A lot of people get to that, they think that $130,000 a year is a lot of money. They think that anything in the six figures, they think that that's a lot of money. And so they lose their prey drive. They stop chasing anything. They stop becoming anything. They stop doing anything. They just get so scared and they want to hang on to whatever, because we get taught wrong at the beginning of life saying that you got to go for six figures, go for six figures, go for six figures. Why not 10 figures, 11 figures? That's right. I want to have a prey drive. And that's why I love the question that Elon Musk has, is he says, if you have your 5-year plan, if you were going to, have one of your loved ones dropped into a pit of lava and you had to condense that and get it accomplished in 6 months, what would you do? Yeah. And it just compresses decades into days. And that's what we're trying to get accomplished. We're trying to take Michael Burt's experience. We're trying to take my experience, Sharon's experience, Tim's experience. And I say this to everyone. Tim is one of my all-time favorite speakers on planet Earth. I remember watching him on the very first GrowthCon, and that was the moment that I shifted. He helped me shift, and he compressed the decades into days to where I was able to say, hey, you know what? I think I have a slightly different calling than I thought before. Michael Burt, on a relatively unknown person, because we had conversations and I had that prey drive. I hunted Michael down. Hey, what's going on? Oh, you're doing a couples retreat? Me and my wife are a couple. Hey, you got a speaking thing? Hey, I speak. Let's go. I had a pray drive that got activated. Why? Because I respect what Michael has done, what he has accomplished. But most importantly, I respect who he is. I respect the way he goes about his business. And I remember watching him speak on GrowthCon 2, and the way that he is able to activate that pray drive and help you don't know what you don't know. And then you start listening to these people talk, and then all of a sudden your mind, if it's this big, it just goes like this. And it expands a little bit, and then you go, holy crap, there's this whole other world. And that's the great thing about getting around the right people. Why? Because instead of you trying to add people to your life, you get someone like Michael Burt in your life, all of a sudden you immediately start multiplying your life, because that's what he's there to do, is try to make your life exponentially better, not by counseling you, not by consoling you. If anyone has ever heard Mike Burt speak in any way, he's not going to try to say, no, that's okay, here's how you cope with this. He equips you so that he can go help you take on the world and become the best version of yourself. And that's what being around these kind of people are all about. And we don't want to get in or around any circle where people are saying, hey, it's okay, better luck next time, blah, 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 blah. Counseling and consoling has no place in my life right now. Right now, what I want to be equipped by the people around me so that I can multiply my life. And I should be having an awareness to where that I can multiply their lives. That's what happens at these things. I walked away with a greater understanding of what was possible when Michael Burt gave me a shot on the cruise. I thought it was, not only did my team love it, we brought 9 people with us because we're serious about it. All my team wants to do is go on cruises now. Maybe that's good or bad, I don't know. But now they've got to step up to that life to where they can go on a cruise whenever they want. And now we're doing that. Why? Because we want to make a difference. I've got two of the top car salesmen in Colorado who follow you now. They're coming to the Dallas event. They've been #1 in Nissan for the last 7 years. They're twins, and they've followed me for a long time. I introduced them to you, and they were just like, man, the only thing that I wish I could have, connected with this information sooner.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that saying, if age only knew and if youth only could. Well, now all of those young people out there who want to be an influencer, they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be all these things. Well, start learning from all these people who actually went out and did it and made the decision and activated their pray drive. When you start realizing what's possible, you're going to start going and saying, hey, you know what? I'm a lion and it's time to eat. And that's the thing that we want to equip people with in a environment like this, so that they realize you're not a sheep. You're not a gazelle. You're not running away from something. You're not someone who should make decisions out of fear of failure. You're someone who needs to go dominate whatever part of life you're in and then make a difference in your life. Why? So that you can make a difference in other people's.
Yeah, because you've used some key words here. Obviously compression could take years off your life. Taking ideas and compressing those ideas. Also, we kind of talked about aligning yourself with other people that believe the same things you do.
Absolutely.
Right. And really, there's a significant gap between what I'm calling the complacent nation and the final percent.
Yeah.
When you look at people that go the final percent, you look at people that go the distance.
Yep.
And that's really the people that are going to be at this event. In Nashville, August 20th, at my lodge, which is an incredible environment, 8,000 square feet, 23 acres. I've never had a person go there and say anything but, dang, this is incredible. Awesome. Never. The environment alone will activate your pray drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're going to go to Dallas, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
We got a whole host of people coming in both cities.
Absolutely.
So what's going to happen as a result of this is they're going to be exposed to significant players.
Yeah.
And what I would say is a very low ticket price, $299 and $499. I mean, how do you get in a room with the kind of people we're putting in a room for that price. And if you don't jump on it, folks, it just says you're not interested
Absolutely.
in your own potential.
Well, and if you think about it, so 1 hour of my time, if I'm coaching someone, is $417 an hour. That's just, if it's rack rate and you call me, that's what it is. I know that Tim is significantly more. I know that you're more. So the first thing that happened when Coach Burt said, hey, are you interested in maybe let's partner again? And he told me the price, I literally thought it was an absolute steal. Because I'll tell you right now, I have paid a lot more for a lot less. I'm not, and by a factor of 1,000 probably. So, you know, if you get one key nugget that shifts your life, like when, you know, I was watching Tim speak and I realized I had a message and something to say, you know, how much is that worth? You know, that's an infinite change in my life that just made me become the true version of myself, not even a better version of myself, but it shifted me to become the true version of myself. And that's what people, I think, are scared to give themselves permission of what's possible. And like I've been saying a lot in my speeches that I've been doing online, and I've been coaching companies and coaching people. Look, if you're looking to me for any guidance, if you're looking to me for any training, letting you know what's going on, I've got 2 jobs. Number one, I need to show you what's possible. I got to get you aware of what's possible. And then I've got to give you the tools to make it probable for you. And that's the big thing. all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take possible and turn it into probable for anyone who comes into my life. And that's why when I was talking to Coach imagine this is my first time on a cruise. He invites me over to his table, which is the cool people table. And we began to talk just nothing but business. And if you've ever had a conversation with Coach, guys, I promise you this is what's going to happen. He will never talk to you like he's too good for you. In fact, what he does is he pulls out his iPad and just takes a crap ton of notes because he is a sponge and he knows that we can learn something from anybody. But in that moment when you meet the right somebody, instead of having the addition that everybody thinks is important, he has his pen and pad ready for when he meets that multiplication and he starts multiplying his ideas and his thoughts. Why? Because he recognizes and is ready when he's at the right place at the right time. But the thing is if you don't show up, it's impossible to be at the right place at the right time because you never take action. And so, Coach and I were talking about that, how we've got this COVID thing that can't be ignored. Us at doing the event, we're taking it extremely seriously. And even though we know that everyone's going to be safe being there and we're excited to have you, we were thinking about, what about those people who can't make it? Maybe they're in that age group or they have an autoimmune thing. We wanted to make it a little bit more accessible for everyone. So Coach and I are working hard and we think we have it nailed down to where we're going to do a full-on live stream. And then we're going to be able to sell this after the fact, just so that if it's the barrier to entry is distance, if the barrier to entry is COVID, if the barrier to entry is price, well, now you really don't have an excuse. If you want to be in the room, you want to engage, you want to be around the players, be around the right people, this is a great opportunity. And I'm telling you, both of the people that I get the opportunity to speak with, being Coach Burt and Tim Story, both of those people have immeasurably already changed my life. I can say that 100%. And now, because I activated my Pray Drive, I have the honor and the privilege to share a stage with 2 people whom I respect unbelievably. That's what's possible. And now, because they helped me realize what was possible, it got turned into probable. And that was the great thing. And nothing made me more validated, if you will, when, I'm doing, more private things and very, very, niche groups of people and people in my mastermind doing, going in front of people who are not a part of my network and having Coach pull me aside and say, hey, you did a great job. I loved your speech. I appreciate you being there. And it was all about that push power towards power. And he helped me realize that it's not force that I needed. And I think this is a really important concept for business people, because they think, let me apply as much force as possible, enough force as possible, force as possible. Force and power are two very different things. If you constantly try to, apply force, you're going to be met with more resistance. Mm-hmm. So your big idea right now that you're getting from us talking in this conversation Coach and I are having should not be, I want to become more powerful. And it should not be, I want to apply more force. It should be, I want to lower the resistance of what's possible in my life. Because if you lower the resistance, the amount of power that you have right now immediately becomes exponential. So check this out. If you're in the right room at the right time, if you're around the right people, if you can have a conversation with these people who are multipliers of ideas, multipliers of human beings, that lowers the resistance, because the resistance is trying to watch 700 hours of YouTube hoping that you find the right video. The force of trying to read every book that anybody ever puts out, lower the resistance. I want you to read Michael Burt's book 7 times each and then do it again. That's going to lower the resistance. Why? Because you're really tapping in, you're plugging in, and then the power that you have inside of you, because you're really resonating with what's possible, is going to become probable in your life. That's the way we do things. And that's why I love working with Coach, because even though I do a little bit of the business coaching, I mean, there's a reason they call Michael Burt the super coach. If I ever have, someone, I was talking to one of my clients today. It was a State Farm agent, and I am not kidding. I texted him before this. It was probably a couple hours ago. And I said, this client of mine was just saying that you did the entire boot camp for all the State Farm agents in Colorado. And he thought it was so cool that I was speaking with Coach Burt. Yeah. Now, it's a small world, but that just shows me that I'm tapped in with the right people who believe in me and people that I can believe in. And that's what's going to multiply us. That means we're really trying to help one another take everything to the next level. The person of interest side of things, the prey drive. Like, I want to activate his prey drive to go into super drive, because he's already doing that for me. So I want to repay the favor. I think that that's really exciting, but that's only going to happen if you're around the right people. And if you're around the right people, the resistance that life is putting on you to become powerful, to become the person you were meant to be, the true version of yourself, the resistance lowers so much, because everyone, and here's the secret of life, everyone's already powerful enough to become the true version of themselves and become that person. The problem is they don't have the right strategy and the right people, and they keep cramming more force down there, so the resistance keeps raising. And all we want to do is help you figure out how to lower that resistance, leverage relationships, capital, time, energy, so that you can actually start multiplying your life.
So this is coming up. I mean, we're crunch time here.
Yeah,
you gotta get your tickets, folks. And as I'm listening to Greg, I'm just thinking about that. You got to make up your mind as you're watching this today. You going to live in the complacent nation?
Yeah.
Or are you going to go the final percent?
It's as simple as that.
And that's what the people who are going to watch this, you got to make a decision, man. You got to decide, which means to kill off.
Well, and let's have them ask themselves a question. If you're not going to take action, that means you are committing to your fears and you're committing to your current life. But if you take action, only $299 of action, if you take that action, you're committing to what's possible. And then we're going to help you turn that into a probable life. But you've got to ask yourself, are you committed to what's possible, or are you committed to your fears? And action means your possibility and opportunity biased. I tell my clients all the time, you're not allowed to say risk anymore. I want you to, 90% of the people out there should replace the word risk with opportunity, but everyone just gets too scared. What we want to do is we want to help you understand that this is a true opportunity, because this is a group of people that are transformative. Or if you don't want to do it and you can't show up and you can't this and blah, 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 all these negatives, you're committing to the same life you've always had, and you're going to get into the shoulda, coulda, woulda phase. We want to, and even if you cannot make it to the thing in $299 right now because COVID's, hitting everyone, let's just say that that's too expensive. We're going to have a live stream that, maybe it's $100 cheaper. It's probably going to be, $199 or so. And then you can buy it after the fact when it's all done, maybe for $99 or something. I mean, I'm just throwing prices out, but this is, I mean, if it was up to me, everything would be 10 times more expensive because I know the value that this group has already brought me. But I'm telling you right now, get committed to what's possible in your life, because if you don't, it will never be probable. It will never be probable.
Well, let's close it out with this. Thank you for being on here. I'm ready to go on that cruise again.
Me too, man.
And I'm ready to come to Colorado and do something with you, like a retreat type setting, because it's a beautiful place.
It needs to happen.
Guys, this is simple. There's two things you can do here. You can get in the room with all of us on the 20th in Nashville at my lodge, or the 26th in Dallas.
Or both.
Or you could get on the live stream as we stream this around the world.
Yep.
And you can watch these events live. Okay. Yeah. As we're doing it for $97. Okay. You can be there. It's a full day, 6, 7, 8 hours, big time people. It's called the Comeback Campaign. And we were supposed to do this in the spring. We didn't do it. We pushed it back. And then I finally just picked up the phone and called Tim Story and Sharon Lecter. And I said, look, we're moving forward. We're doing this. Who wants to come is going to be there. And they said, we're in, Coach. So August 20th at my lodge. I don't know how to say this other than the day can change your life. Compression, final percent, comebacks, bounce backs. You need to be in the room, folks. If you can't, for some reason, you're out in wherever, you're in Alaska, you're in another country, you can't come, then you can watch the live stream all over the world.
Easy.
So we're gonna push that puppy out to you. Greg, thank you for being such a good friend, and more important, I look forward to a bigger future with you. We're gonna do big things in the world, and so, man, I appreciate you. I'll follow up with you. The Comeback Campaign, August 20th. We'll put a link in the bio. We'll put a link in the thing for you to sign up today. Get your tickets. Let's get rolling.
Hey, thanks, Coach. I appreciate you so much.
Love you, brother. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Bye, man.
I just finished the Monster Growth Boot Camp at my lodge, and man, was it probably the best boot camp I've ever done. People will tell you, when they get in that room, magic happens.
It's like going to a Bruce Springsteen concert. He gave us more than I was expecting. I went to a concert one time with him, and it was 4 hours long, which was unusual. Coach Burt put his heart and soul into this thing.
It's an amazing experience because he brings so much energy, so much passion, and he always gives 120%.
Being coached by Coach today was fantastic.
Coach Burt has always helped me maximize my potential and go just above and beyond.
Being coached by Coach is one of the best investments that I've made in my life.
Coach is intense, and there's really nothing like being in the room with him.
If you do not know anything about Coach Burt, he's the people's coach.
He gives you the encouragement, super positive. I mean, what's not to like?
The people were hungry. The environment was incredible and electric. The content was so rich and powerful. You see, I spent 2 days breaking down the entire Monster Growth system. How do you activate your prey drive? How do you explain your services in a world-class way? How do you generate leads through a selling system? How do you follow up like crazy? How do you become a person of interest? How do you extract referrals out of your current clients? For 2 days, we broke each part of that methodology down with real-life examples, practical frameworks, exercises for people to do. And people left there, man, on fire. It was incredible. If you get a chance to come to my lodge, spend 2 days with me. Let me break these concepts down. Monster Growth Boot Camp at my lodge, one of the best experiences of my life.